That's where I was like, if you just walk.
Why are there only a few clean rivers in this country?
Like where the trees are.
What happened to our ancestors? They have been fighting for this before we can even conceive of the climate crisis was. What does it mean that we don't honor that now? We, as indigenous people, one thing that we can get across to all of you is that what it means to be human is to be able to be a part of the earth. It means listening to the inherent balances and cycles and laws.
I'm just trying to move that way.
Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for showing up today. But we need to do more. There is so much left to do. Often when we talk about climate change, we don't talk about system change. Climate change is an intersectional issue. You can lower all of the carbon emissions you want, but if you are not respecting women, if you are not respecting people of color, what is the solution? We, as the human population, need to be the change, because I will not sit and worry about a future that I might not have. Remember who you are. Remember that you are always going to be a part of the very ground that you stand on. There is no us without her.
Hello everyone, good day. My Lakota name is Northern Lights Woman. In English, I'm Nina Bergland. I'm 20 years old and I come from Minneapolis, Minnesota. The land of over 10,000 beautiful lakes. The land where wild rice grows on the water. Where it has always been Dakota land and Ojibwe land. I want you all to take a moment and look us in the eyes. All of you Congress people who are listening, all of you people who are able to create change, look us in our eyes and tell us that you're going to do something. You're going to do something for your future grandchildren, the ones who are unborn, the ones who lie in the stomachs of your great-great-grandchildren. Think about all of those people. Think about the beautiful nations that will come. In Minnesota, they're trying to build a pipeline, the Line 3 pipeline proposed by the Enbridge Corporation. Me, myself, along with other young people, the Youth Climate Interveners said in the courts that we will not accept this pipeline to destroy the only thing we've ever known. While being here in D.C. for the past week, we have told these Congress people that we want them to sit and listen to us, that you have had your time to talk, and now it is our time to talk. It is our time to talk. You've had your entire lives to do something about it, and it has not been enough. So when we're demanding climate change, it's nothing to be debated about. Like one of our relatives that came from the Amazon, the place where things are happening right now that we cannot even imagine to our communities. How much more indigenous blood is going to be shed in the name of climate change? And we're here to say not one more drop. All of you young people out there who are listening and who will listen for the years to come, I want you to understand your power. Understand how strong you are. And never let anyone take that away from you, because you are beautiful and you are strong. And your great-great-grandchildren deserve a place Part of this great I am 23 years old. I've been doing this for a long time. Very first time I came to Washington. What we did that day, what young people can do, it showed me what young people can do. You take to the streets, you storm the Congress, you storm the White House, we can hold them accountable. We have power. Because we are the people, we are the future of this nation. The future is in our hands. The future is coming. The future is rising, and we will rise with it. We will raise our voices. We will hold them accountable. Because this is our land. This is our home. This land does not belong to us. It belongs to our children. Our children's children. And long after us, we are not the first ones to come here. MLK, Rosa Parks. We're not the first ones to fight for freedom, for fighting for the right to be a human being. We're not the first ones, and we will not be the last ones. I'm going to tell the President-elect Donald Trump, and to all the Congress people, that we will keep coming. My children will keep coming. And we will keep coming like the storm that never ends until they do something. Like I love you, all you beautiful people, you beautiful people of color, not white, not black, not brown, all the colors in between. All those beautiful people that come from beautiful lands. We are all indigenous. We all come from somewhere. We all have homes that we fight for. We all have families somewhere that are suffering. But we are here for them. We are here for the priceless. We are here for the people that are being raped and murdered. We are here for the slaves.
That's a good idea.
I stand as a woman of color, as an indigenous woman. And I strike today for the future. I strike for my children. I do not have children yet. But as a young person, why do I have to fight for my future? That these people got to enjoy years before us. Why do we not get to have a good future? And I said, how dare they? How dare they tell us that we don't deserve a good future, that we don't deserve clean water? How dare they? Because that was seen throughout history. We unite. It gives us a reason to stand behind. Through that hate, through that fear, through that anger. Stand behind this banner. And it gives us power. And it makes us scared. We stand together.
I hope so. That'd be really good.
You look around and see
I know.
right.
I'm just making sure other people.
But right now, that is your brother, that is your sister standing on the front lines with you, just fighting this fight for climate change. Fighting this fight for climate change. This front line is not only it's just the right.
Yeah, that's better for your eyes.
It stretches across this land.
That's all I'm saying.
It needs to be ready. Because as I see these youth, I'm empowered. I feel nothing but love. I feel nothing but power. And I tell these leaders, you should be scared. You should be scared because these youth, and I look at you in your eyes. I see nothing but power. I see nothing but the future. And I strike for you. I strike for me. I strike for everybody who came here today. I want to do a chat with you. That would mean a lot for me. When we were running from North Dakota for the Dakota Access Pipeline, we ran 2,000
Everybody just joined. We are in Washington, D.C. for a student-led climate strike, a national, international day of action. Hundreds of thousands of students have hit the streets in various nations. We are in Washington, D.C. This is thousands of people who have come out. Right now we're listening to a rally that has been opened by indigenous youth from across the United States. And we're going to keep bringing this to you live. Again, thanks for joining us here. Watch this live on Unicorn Riot.
Thank you. So now we want to acknowledge two things. We're all here. What are we demanding? What are we demanding from corporations and from elected officials? What's happened is a bunch of youth climate organizations got together in Iowa with no Wi-Fi, no cell service, and made these demands together. So we're going to tell you what we're demanding.
Our 5 demands to the people, to the elected officials, and to the corporate greedy fossil fuel industry. We, one, demand a Green New Deal! Second, we demand respect of indigenous rights and communities. 3, we are going to fight big agriculture and move to a more sustainable agricultural system. We are going to protect biodiversity.
Again, right now you're watching the DC Climate Strike International Day of Action, led by the youth of the world. Here in the United States, this is Washington, D.C. Again, there's actions all over the country. We have a few thousand people here. The steps of the Capitol. We're listening to the rally as they're demanding climate action now from the United States Congress. Again, this is led by the youth who have walked out of school to strike from school, strike for climate, and here they are.
Can you please come up?
Are you ready for some change? I am too, my friends. This is the moment right here, right now. The alarm bells have been sounding for an entire generation, but this is the moment for you to be heard. Across the station and across the entire planet, which is literally dying to be heard. And it's beautiful to look out into this amazing sea and see our climate youth making this change and causing this movement to move forward. Are you ready? And we're sending the message that we're doing this in an urgent way. If we want climate action then we don't lack the science to know the climate crisis is here. Nor do we lack the brain power to heal our wounded planet from generations of abuse and neglect. But what we do lack is the will to act on it. You are all going to change that, right? And that's why having your voices here today is so critical and so important. Because like those in power who refuse to act quickly enough or boldly enough, like those in industries who face profits over the environment and over public health. And so I want to be here with you to know that we are going to continue to call out loud, rally, and show up until our voices are heard. Is that right? Well, don't stop and keep it going, and I will do the same.
My face with this.
Yeah. So did you? So like our camera person's right up here. I feel like we could stand right here. Just basically, I want to know why you're all here. We have thousands of youth. I assume you're youth.
Yes.
And why did you come out here today to let people know what's going on?
So we're actually from Arizona, and the climate issue really affects us with temperatures skyrocketing and water scarcity. So we really care about the environment, and we just happen to be in DC. So we wanted to come and see all these people rally around the cause.
How about you?
Same thing. We're part of an organization here. We're actually at a conference working with different social justice issues, including climate strikes, which is why we're here today. It just happens to be a bonus that we're here on vacation too. So.
Do you think there'll be like more climate strikes like this? Is that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a climate strike happening in November too.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would think that there'd be one next week if no one ever listened.
Yeah, what was it like to come out? I mean, you didn't plan to really be here. It just was happening while you were already in DC. And so I guess what is it like to see all these people come out for climate? As somebody who's been learning about social justice and fighting for social justice already, and this issue, this is what's happening now. What would you say about that?
I think it's really empowering to see all these people come out. If I hadn't come to the DC strike, I would have gone to the one in Phoenix, Arizona. So, and obviously there's a lot more people here, and I think it's really cool to see that this many people care about the cause.
I guess being in Arizona, there's not much people who travel to Arizona to come to something like this. So I think just being here with other people from other states who actually came together all across the country to do something this empowering, it just really lifts up the whole community and itself, you know?
And what would you tell, so like right now, obviously there's youth watching, there's also adults watching. A lot of the rhetoric is always around voting, which you all can't vote, right? But everything that's happening is affecting you. And so I guess like, what would you tell adults who are listening right now, who have this right that you all don't because whatever, you know?
I think our parents pay the politicians' taxes. Our parents can vote. Like even though we can't vote, that doesn't mean we don't have a voice. And we're all going to turn 18 someday, so we're definitely going to vote for the issues that we care about. So I think people should definitely take us seriously.
For me, it's more of that, like, yeah, adults are living in the generation now, but once we turn 18, like, we're gonna mold our community to what we like, so we might as well just make it better for the kids who are actually suffering the consequences now, rather than waiting 18 years, you know?
And so you're saying, like, I'm not sure how old you are, if I can...
15.
15. You're saying that you're thinking about the kids who are going to come after you, and you have to be thinking about them, and that's something your generation is interested in, and you're saying that this generation wasn't.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Is there anything else you want to say before you enter the rest of your day, I guess?
Follow Climate Strike AZ on Instagram.
Likewise, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you. Oh, where can we find this?
Oh, let me give you. It's Unicorn Riot. I only have stickers, but if you look for Unicorn Riot on the internet, you'll.
Okay. I have one.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, cool. Hold on. All right, everybody. That was just a few people who are here attending the climate strike who weren't like in DC to come to this event, but this event was happening while they're here, and they're going to tell us a little bit about it. Okay, we're going to keep listening to this climate strike. We're going to try to bring some interviews in as well because we are kind of situated in a weird situation, but glad to be here live. So here you go. Oh, it's just me. I'm just kind of standing here. Hi, my name is Lorenzo.
Nice to meet you.
We're going to face this way if that's cool. It's right there. There's this camera person. Yeah, you're like, this person holding the mic. Anyway, do you want to talk about, we're here at the climate strike in Washington, D.C. You're attending it. Mm-hmm. And you want to talk about what brought you out here and what you want people to know about climate?
Well, climate change is inevitable, right? There's nothing we can, do to deny it, right? It's happening, and we want to prevent the worst from happening. Like some older generations, they might not see it as much, but I'm in the young generation, and this is our future. This is our Earth. This is the only Earth we have, no planet B. And, this is going to be our future. And I don't want to die from climate change. I don't want my life to be considerably altered from climate change because the Earth and, what it gives us is a gift. And we shouldn't ruin that just through, wanting more resources and using it for our own gain because it is, what gives us life.
And what would you say, I mean, as somebody who feels that you come out here to have your voice heard. What would you say you hear from? Do you feel like the older generation is listening to the youth who's come out, or?
I would say that the youth shouldn't have to take charge instead of our actual leaders, but that's what's happening. And I think that it is powerful, and I think that a lot of adults are listening to us. But I would also say that it's hard because a lot of times as a youth, what you say doesn't feel as valued anyways because it's considered you're a leader but you're a youth leader, or you're someone who's protesting but you're a youth who's protesting, and that feels like it's minimizing it, but it's this is our future, so it's our responsibility, but it's also your responsibility. As we're all living on this earth, and it shouldn't just be the people that are going to be more affected by it because it was their responsibility to ensure that it would be safe for the future.
And what is that? I mean, so earlier I interviewed some people and they're talking about how they're 15 years old. They're thinking about the future generation, the children that are going to come after them. And I guess what is that like to suddenly feel in this position of responsibility as somebody who is looked at through society as like a child whose voice isn't valued, or as you just said?
It's really, really hard because I already feel like, I'm a child basically, considering like I'm a youth, and like I feel like, it brings me so much pain to think that me, having only lived for not that long, has this responsibility, and that like, that the earth that I was born into, that future generations, that they might not have that, given that they are just born into the earth and it's healthy, and it's like, already not that healthy for my generation, but we can still live here. Like, I want the future generations to still be able to live here, and it's so hard to think that that's just not something that's like 100% gonna happen.
And what is like, so we have this event today. It's really, it's empowering. As we've heard, we've had a lot of people come out. I guess, what does tomorrow look like? Because it's always like you have this high point. Tomorrow you're going to go back. The climate movement is still going to be moving. Climate change is still going to be happening. So how do we look at that? Like, what do we do tomorrow from this?
I mean, I think that we need to continue marching. We need to continue striking. But besides that, I think we should try to do as much as we can as individual people, which is hard because, most pollution is just from, fossil fuels and major companies, as they say, like 7 major companies, something like that. So like as an individual person, like we are not causing climate change as much as, industries that we aren't part of. But I think that in certain ways we're contributing to them, so I think that there's choices that we can make to be more environmentally conscious, and I want to make more of those choices. I definitely think that everyone can make more of them, but I also think that, we need to make political change, we need to make economic change, we need to make societal changes to prevent the inevitable. And so like just as much as we might, like save water and turn lights off, it really like hurts me to think that that doesn't really do anything, but there needs to be like major groundbreaking changes.
And is there anything else you'd like to tell anybody who's listening or anything like that about just even how to connect into a movement or how to feel part of something that can create change?
You should never, I would say that whatever you can do, you should do it. It's our responsibility, yes, but also like we need to support those who are doing the most. Like we need to support leaders, and we need to come out like this. Like there's so many people out here that are just like normal people. Like I'm just a high school student. Like I just, I left school to come here, and that might not seem like much, but when that all comes together, when like thousands and thousands of just regular people do what they can, do a small thing, it becomes a really big thing. And we just need to be supporting the voices of those who are fighting for the environment, and we need to continue like, being conscious of the environment and being conscious of our decisions, while also, doing what we can to like make changes. So I think that's really important.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. My name is Lorenzo. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Again, here we're in the climate strike here in Washington, D.C. We're going to keep trying to bring you some interviews and also the ongoing rally in the background. Thanks for joining us. How's it going? If you want, my name is Lorenzo. I'm with Unicorn Riot, and if you want to say your name and why you're here and what's going on.
Hey, yeah, my name is Yan. I'm a second-year PhD student at University of Maryland. These are also University of Maryland students. Go Terps! We're here to support climate justice. Jake's got a sign that says climate justice. I'm anti-natural gas. Natural gas is a euphemism. All gas is natural. It all comes out of the ground, and it's all polluting the climate or polluting the atmosphere. So, yeah.
And what is it like, so this is kind of, I don't know what age range of youth is, but we've spoken to a lot of climate students, like high school students who organize this climate strike.
Yeah.
So what is it like to come out to support high school students, middle school students, and be the ones who are sitting here kind of like holding them up?
It is awesome. As someone who's a huge fan of like punk music and rock music, and there's like a specific scene for that, it's usually like high school, younger kids. I love going to clubs and seeing kids moshing and getting dirty, and this is the same thing they're doing out here, you know, just rioting, but, you know, showing their power, showing their voice, sharing their voice, making sure that they're heard, and I have no problem being, I mean, I'm 27, 28, you know?
Really clear, this is a very lawful assembly. It's definitely not a riot. This people gather together very peaceful and, you know.
No, absolutely. You know, I mean, I don't feel like the old person in the room, but I am all the way down for younger kids and younger folks to do all of this.
And what do you think they're saying? Like, what do you think they're leading the way with?
In terms of
just like, what is this? All these people coming together. Like, what do they want people to know? You know?
Oh, I've heard so many. There's like so many diverse topics within, you know, the climate conversation, right? You have environmental justice, you have social justice, you have, of course, you know, sea level rise and all these different things, and I'm hearing all of it, and that's the thing that's really cool about the youth today. They can be intersectional. They're not trying to just push one point. They understand that we need to act on all of these things simultaneously.
Yeah. And is there anything else you want to tell anybody who's listening right now at all, or?
Learn who your representatives are, talk to them. If you think that you're on the right side, make sure you're talking to the people and convincing them to go out and vote. Well, not if you think you're on the right side. If you're on the side of the climate, if you're on the side of the planet, then go out, organize, get people to vote.
All right, right on. Well, thanks so much, Doug. Yeah, peace. All right, we're going to keep bringing you interviews again. This is the Climate Strike rally right now here in Washington, D.C., International Day of Action.
And so, first let me lift up, while I am based in D.C. with the Hip Hop Caucus and Unit Hip Hop Caucus, I'm originally from Louisiana. I actually kind of love to get more love from Hip Hop Caucus than Louisiana. I just don't know why, but I love it a lot. But one of the things that is so important in this process, I lift up right now, with the floods in Houston, those in the Bahamas. Today is the University of Puerto Rico. I want to lift up those who are still dealing with Superstorm Sandy, Hurricane Irma, Maria, those who are there with the wildfires in California, the wildfires in the Arctic. What is going on? Still those who are suffering in Florida. Yeah, make sure you give them some love. This is just the beginning for folks, zero audience, zero hour, but dear, you can't give it up, Lord, zero hour. My amazing friend, Nadia, and the whole crew, and everybody else. Obviously, I've been stuck with sunrise on my chest here. So it's all love. But I want to say these two things. One, you are the David that will beat the Goliath. You are the David that will beat the Goliath. You will beat the fossil fuel industry. The second thing to that is never forget this. Organized people needs organized money every single time.
Hey, how's it going? If you want to just like stand right here, I can understand what we're doing. I'm Lorenzo. I'm with Unicorn Riot. We're here covering the climate strike, and I'm just kind of getting people's opinions, what brought them out. Go ahead and let us know.
Sure. I'm Mustafa Santiago Ali. Been working on environmental justice since I was a teenager, and to see so many young people here reclaiming their power, saying that we have to protect the planet, but that also equity and frontline communities have to be a part of that process is what a new paradigm looks like. So it's exciting.
So you're saying you've been working on this since you were a teenager, or you've been working in climate justice? And I guess what are the things that are being said then that are happening? Are they happening now, or like what did you hear then, and now being alive now, what is it like? I guess.
Yeah. Well, when I first started working on environmental justice issues, you know, they would tell communities of color that the impacts that were happening in their communities weren't real, that they were making it up. and that the fossil fuel pollution that was in their communities wasn't what was making them sick. And now we know that that pollution is also what's warming up our planet. So we have seen an evolution over time of people understanding where the real impacts are coming from, and some of the steps that we have to do. And now that we have so many people who are focused on climate and climate justice issues, we can literally hold our elected officials accountable. We can make sure that the right policies are in place. We can make sure that the resources are going to the communities to build capacity, to help the fight to make real change happen, to save our lives and save our planet.
So that's great. I mean, yeah, the people are reclaiming their power. They're all here. I'm just kind of wondering too. Like you're saying, like you've been doing this for decades.
Yeah.
So what's like the smallest march you ever went to?
The smallest march I ever went to, probably about 10 people, the smallest.
Yeah.
It was a climate march a long time ago. But now, literally tens of thousands, millions of people are now coming together across the planet to make change happen and to say that we can do it.
And would you say like that was that at that time where there wasn't this? There wasn't this.
Right.
It wasn't this. No. It was still important though that there was just 10 of you, right?
Right. It only takes a couple of folks. If you can get a couple of people together and begin to strategize, begin to build real coalitions, that's where it all begins. And then you just continue to build and build and build, working with new partners who are authentic. And then you have situations like you have here today, where you have thousands and thousands of people standing here in front of the Capitol, holding people accountable and saying that they're going to hold themselves accountable as well.
And how would you say like how long has this struggle been? Like the climate struggle isn't today; it's been for a while, right? And so I'm just kind of wondering, like, what is it? I'm really interested in, like, what is it like to be somebody who's involved, and then to just be here and see it sort of grow, and also my perception of it is also all the warnings you heard then, are they coming true now? Sort of, yeah.
So for me, the climate struggle actually goes back to people first coming to this country and displacing indigenous brothers and sisters, moving them off their land and making changes to their environment. But the modern day climate movement is about 50 years old now, really, in the sense that Exxon knew close to 50 years ago that what they were, pulling up out of the ground was going to have impacts. And there were some early warning signs back then. There were folks who were talking about that this would warm up the planet. It was just such a small amount of people that unfortunately it didn't get traction at that time. Now it is undeniable. People know what's happening. So I would say we should remember the mistakes and the sins of the past so that we don't repeat them in the future.
Is there any last words you have for anybody watching, or anything you think people should just think about, or anything you just always want to tell somebody, like?
That we need to make sure that as we are having this climate conversation, that we don't forget about frontline communities of color, low-income communities, and indigenous populations, who are the ones who get hit first and worst, and the ones who have to be a part of our decision-making process.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, you take care.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you too. Again, we're going to keep bringing you interviews. We're here in Washington, D.C. for the climate strike. All our coverage is free with Creative Commons, non-commercial share alike. Yeah, and it's available for free on the internet as long as you don't monetize it. Everything is So Unicorn Riot, Ninja, as long as it's not monetized, anyone can kind of use it. It's Creative Commons, non-commercial. Yeah, so just like credit or whatever, but it's just there. It's free. Lorenzo. Yeah, it's all Creative Commons, non-commercial, share alike.
And so since that moment, November 2007, I credit right here recruiting me to the movement and making me know that climate activism was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Around the world, and we're so happy that you guys came. And here, we're talking about climate justice some of you have seen some members of Congress on stage, and there's more to come. And obviously, they got there because people voted. All right, 2020 is upon us, and to vote, you have to register to vote. All of you here, I want to know if you are old enough to vote in the next election. Raise your hand. That's a lot of people. This is just one strike happening across the U.S. and across the world. Okay, so my one request from all of you and your friends, if you're striking on Fridays, you know what you can also do on Fridays? Register your friends to vote in your school. Register your friends to vote on Fridays and use an opportunity when you're striking for the climate to get new voters on the roll so that you help control who enters this building next year. All right, thank you all so much. Thank you for striking with us. Thank you so much, Legend. So this week, Greta Thunberg was here in D.C. She really emphasized was unite behind the science. Unite behind the science. So we wanted to bring in Greta, who is a climate scientist. She's going to be talking a little bit about the science behind the climate crisis.
Yeah, bring him over here. He's like...
Our camera's right there.
Hi, my name is Lorenzo.
Hi.
Hi. Don?
Yeah.
And Kevin? Ella. All right, wonderful. I just wanted to hear about this getting different voices of why people came out here. So if you just want to tell us why you're here and what it's like to kind of join these youth to talk about climate.
This is our first time being involved with a protest, really. This issue is important to us, and we wanted to be here to be a part of this.
And we felt it was important to bring Ella so she could see that her voice matters, that she can, if she sees things in the world that she doesn't like or she wants to bring awareness to, that she has a voice, that she can be part of something bigger than herself.
Do you want to say anything? Is that okay? No, you're good? All right, just hold it down. You're the highest up, so it's like you're the one in charge. What is it like to see, I guess, the youth of the country kind of coming out? There's thousands of high school students, middle school students kind of telling Congress they want action now. I mean, what is that like for somebody in the United States?
It's inspiring. It's wonderful to see. I'm very happy to see so many people be passionate about this issue and get involved with movements, with the movement. And do things. People are doing things about it and being a part of the solution.
It brings me a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope for our future.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. And I guess right now is, I don't know how many people. I mean, a lot of people watch this, kind of wondering like what people feel like here. Is there anything you want them to take away? Like what you wish you could tell somebody about being here?
We can all play a part in solving this issue. We can all do things together. We can do things individually. We're not alone in this. You know, we can all play a part, and we can put pressure on other people to play a part.
The same. All right. Well, thanks for talking to me again. We're just trying to get voices and this here why people have come. So thank you so much for taking the time. You have a great day. Thank you. Thank you. Great to meet you. All right. So we're going to keep trying to bring you interviews of just different folks who have come here and try to give you an idea of the different thoughts behind the folks that are here. Again, this is the DC climate strike. Where it says stay alive and keep trying to get you who's on stage here. So, all right.
Future of humanity. So, since I'm not performing this, it's very important that you guys know the words to the chorus. I need you to yell this back at me. We have to fight. We have to fight. To save our Earth. We have to fight.
All right, so we're gonna bring some more people here to interview.